So just when you think the Trump people couldn't sink any lower, as I always say, there's always tomorrow. And look at this headline today. Man accused of throwing sandwich, right? You heard that right, sandwich, at U.S. border agent charged with assault. Sean Dunn charged with assaulting federal officer over incident in Washington, which could result in a year in jail. And yes, we are actually talking about throwing a sandwich. This is the other headline here. Man who hurled sandwich at law enforcement in D.C. charged with felony. And this was a quote. I did it. I threw a sandwich. How am I supposed to respond to this stuff? And how are any of us supposed to respond to this? I mean, it sounds so absurd. Am I supposed to laugh? Am I supposed to cry? Everything's crazy. This is just a few hours ago. So there they are handcuffing the guy. He indeed have a sandwich. I guess it was a Subway sandwich. Jeanine Shapiro, who's like a Fox News host, but now I think she's working in the Trump administration. She had a statement on this thing. We'll watch it.
So President Trump has vowed to make D.C. safe and beautiful again. And as part of his effort to fight crime, he's bringing in our federal law enforcement partners like FBI, ATF, DEA, or Park Police, everybody to help the Metropolitan PD fight crime. And the president's message to the criminals was, if you spit, we hit. Well, we didn't quite do that the other night when an individual went up to one of the federal law enforcement officers and started jumping up and down, screaming at him, berating him, yelling at him. And then he took a Subway sandwich about this big and took it and threw it at the officer. He thought it was funny. Well, he doesn't think it's funny today because we charged him with a felony, assault on a police officer. And we're going to back the police to the hilt. So there. Stick your Subway sandwich somewhere else.
And their attitude is, I mean, this is a Fox person and Trump person, but look at their attitude when it comes to law enforcement. The actual incident, if you want to see a little bit more of it, he was.
Fascists in our city. They're what? You see these fascists right here in our fascists?
Right, so he's pointing to the Custom Borders Patrol saying, see these fascists in our city. So he is yelling at them, right? He's just saying fascists, these kind of things. He was, saying the, screw you kind of stuff also. But does this, warrant what happened?
I need to do some
I just want to
background
show you guys a
studying
bit what
about
it
the
was.
Federal Bar Association.
And my first reaction to this stuff is, these are the kind of incidents to where it escalates situations. The Trump people keep saying, oh, when we bring on the military or whatever, we're going to de-escalate stuff. No, I don't think so. I mean, you're just looking for fights, essentially, is what this ends up being. You're going to enrage the local people. You're going to have these kind of things. People might throw a sandwich at you, right? Whereas there'd probably be no violence in this situation if you weren't there. This whole thing is just ugly all around. And I want you to see what's going on. So this is a guy talking about where the ICE people come from.
The ones they pulled up in, these fascists.
Oh, the fascists? You tried to, the federal body investigators?
What vehicles did they show up in?
They showed up in unmarked.
Where are they? Where?
Right, it's the white truck right there, the white car in front of there.
That white Jeep over there.
All the white cars.
All those white cars.
Yeah.
Right, so the local people are just hanging out in the street and are like, hey, it's those dudes over there in the unmarked white vehicles. So this person in the pink shirt is looking for a fight. Just want to be aware of that. I don't endorse or condone any of this stuff, but I'm just saying because of the things that Trump is doing, it escalates the situation. This is sort of what you're going to see. And I think this is, frankly, what the Trump people probably are looking for, right? They're looking for excuses to fight and to arrest people. As you guys know, and I'm just showing you guys all of it, just so you can see what it is. They were, I think, arrested 100 people in D.C. recently. It's hard to know if it's like this kind of stuff or other things. You just don't know. And, it's so hard to talk about this. I mean, just be frank. Because it's like, I can see drunk and disorderly. I can see that, right? Because I get that. But felony, you know, impossible a year in prison kind of stuff, you know. And then he throws a sandwich and the first thing I when I showed Yeji's, my wife, you guys know, when we were watching this together, she's like, "Is this real?" And you know, I asked her, would we see this kind of thing, you know, here? And she just, you know, and we were just talking. And it's like actually the example she gave was, say, in England, when you have the guys who are, you know, guarding the palace or whatever, and people do weird things to try to get them to move, and they just kind of ignore you in a way. I mean, this is just the opposite. They got like all these guys chasing after him. I mean, and that's why I'm showing it to you guys. I just want to get your guys' opinion. Again, my first reaction is like, first I didn't think it was real. I thought it was a joke, right? Throwing a sandwich, felony charge, assault. Should I laugh? Should I cry? This kind of thing. And then when I really started to think about it, I was just like, you're just going to see more of these kind of incidents, and it gives Trump excuses just to arrest people for whatever. But it's like a situation that you cause, and then you arrest people. So let me read a little bit more of this stuff. It says, in court documents filed Wednesday, police allege that Sean Charles Dunn approached law enforcement officers, including Metro Transit Police and U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers, and began yelling obscenities and calling them fascists. At around 11:05 p.m., according to the federal court filing, Dunn approached the officer and threw a sandwich at him. He was charged with assaulting, resisting, or impeding certain officers and employees of the United States. So I guess that's how they're doing felony charges on that. Following his arrest, Dunn allegedly told one of the arresting officers, "I did it. I threw a sandwich." The Washington Post was not immediately able to contact Dunn for comment. Dunn is 37 and lives in the district, according to a spokesperson for the U.S. Attorney's Office in D.C. And all this goes back to leadership, training, right? A good leader is trying to de-escalate the situation. We're not trying to turn Americans against each other. In terms of training, you know, if you guys saw the most recent South Park episode, they kind of made fun of the ICE training to where, like, you know, basically you have someone watch a, you know, 2-second training video with Chrissy Nome, and then you just hand someone a gun and you hop in a bunch of unmarked vehicles and you just go out and start arresting people. And that's sort of how I feel that things are going as well. I mean, it's just, I'll just say this, like in this particular situation, I you know, at least no one was hurt. That's a positive take. The negative of it would be the penalty seems way too harsh for what, you know, a felony for this, and then you have the what if it could have been worse, and will we see more of this kind of stuff, because then it just escalates, right? It's like, oh, I heard, you know, you arrested a guy that threw a sandwich at you, and it's like, I'm pretty angry about that, and I'm gonna, you know, do more stuff. And I don't know. I don't see a good ending for what's happening, and Trump's looking to expand into yet more cities. So I just wanted to bring your attention. I know, again, it's absurd. It's hard to even talk about this. Like, how can we talk about stuff in a reasonable way? But again, it goes back to leadership. We need to be de-escalating things and working on unifying, opposed to figuring out ways to just get each other to fight. So that's my thoughts. I want to hear yours, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.